She used to like to hug all the time. For no reason, Ma, I need a hug. And I'd be like, oh God, Keeshae, I just gave you a hug. She had fat fingers and I used to play with her fingers. And we like scary movies. We used to sit on the bed and pretend like, you know, we at the movie theater laying in the bed with the blanket. I never thought that it would be 5 years and my daughter still wouldn't be home. If something happened to your family member, you would want somebody to help you. So I'm asking, I'm begging, and I'm pleading to please help me. Help my daughter. Baby, I love you and I miss you so much. And Mommy's not stopping till I find you. I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna bring you home. And I love you, and I love you, I love you, I love you.
September 26th, 2016, Richmond, Virginia. A 21-year-old woman logs off a job site at her grandmother's house and tells her family, "I'll see you tomorrow." She never does. For 8 years, her disappearance sits open. A file gathering dust while her mother refuses to let it. She chases leads herself. She confronts the last man seen with her daughter, face to face, in his own doorway. He denies everything. Then, in 2022, that same man is arrested 1,000 miles away for murdering someone else. He's already facing life in prison. He has nothing left to lose. And in 2024, after nearly 8 years of silence, he finally starts talking. But what he admits to, and what he refuses to admit, will leave one question hanging over Richmond that police still can't answer. Her body has never been found. On September 26, 2016, 21-year-old Keeshae Jacobs was at her grandmother's home in the Westover neighborhood of Richmond, Virginia, using the internet to look for a job. She told a family member she would see them the next day. She never returned. Richmond police later confirmed she never made it back to her residence that night. Separate reporting places her later that evening at a home on Broad Street in Richmond's Church Hill neighborhood, where she had been dropped off by friends. When her friends went back to that Church Hill address looking for her, a man there, identified only as Omar, told them she wasn't there. Keeshae's mother, Toni Jacobs, went to the house herself and questioned him directly. From that first night, Toni had doubts about the man last seen with her daughter, a man later identified as Otis Lee Tucker. Within a week, family members were holding a vigil, describing a woman who did not go days without contacting relatives.
She has a mother. She lost her brother, but she still has family that loves her so much. So much. This is so hard being her, and I wish we was yesterday. But the last time I was never able to touch or talk to my daughter. So I'm pleading and I'm begging with the public to please help. Help me, help my daughter, help all these families that has missing loved ones. They have people that love them. And I don't care how small this information could be, anything. I know somebody's seen something, I know somebody knows something. And I just want help to bring Keeshae home or find some kind of information. Please, please help me. Help my daughter.
Police classified it as a missing persons case. For the next several years, the case stalled. Richmond police kept the file open, but Toni Jacobs grew convinced that the department was not moving fast enough on leads she believed pointed toward Tucker. She began pushing the investigation forward on her own, pressing detectives, gathering information, and refusing to let the case go cold through inaction. Part of the friction came from disagreement over how the case should be classified. Early on, Toni objected to the case being treated as a homicide investigation because she wanted it treated as an active missing persons case so that police resources would continue searching for her daughter rather than shifting toward building a murder case with no confirmed victim. Years passed with no resolution. Tucker remained a person of interest, but no charges were filed in connection with Keeshae's disappearance. If you watch up to this moment, please subscribe and turn on notifications to stay informed on the latest cases and investigations. In 2022, Tucker was arrested in connection with the murder of a woman named Ashley Fowler in Florida. He was convicted and sentenced to life in prison for that killing. The sentencing gave Richmond investigators new leverage, and it gave Toni Jacobs a new reason to hope. With Tucker already facing a life sentence and effectively nothing left to lose by talking, she began publicly appealing to him to admit what happened to her daughter.
Today marks 6 years since Keeshae Jacobs disappeared in Richmond. She was just 21 years old at the time. Today, her mother stood alongside parents whose children also ended up missing or dead, but haven't ever gotten the answers or closure they're searching for. Jake Burns heard from them today. And Jake, what does Keeshae's mother want the public to know?
Well, that she's fighting for answers 6 years on now. You probably know that CBS 6 partners with the Reopen the Case Foundation to shine light on cases like Jacob's disappearance. They marked this somber anniversary for her family on the steps of the courthouse.
The struggle to get out of bed was difficult this morning.
6 years now since Toni last heard from Keeshae.
Because I love my daughter so much and I miss her so much. It doesn't change every day. Everything reminds me of her.
The night of September 26, 2016, Keeshae Jacobs went missing. The last known plot point. Her friends say she was dropped off at this Churchill home.
This man right here, his name is Otis Lee Tucker.
Toni Jacobs and the Reopen the Case Foundation putting out the name of the person of interest in this case.
He was the last person seen and knows my daughter's whereabouts, so what happened to my daughter?
Crime insider John Burkett previously reported Tucker is a person of interest in the Jacobs disappearance. He has not been charged with any crimes related to it. Burkett has confirmed he was living in the home where Jacobs was last seen.
And my love and my dedication to finding my daughter has not stopped, and it's not going to stop. I don't care what the smallest information to please reach out.
Toni Jacobs stands on this day with family members of victims from other unsolved cases.
This was an innocent victim. This wasn't gang-related.
Jamar Hopkins' son Taj was murdered in Petersburg 4 years ago.
For 4 years, I've never asked anyone to walk in my shoes because I don't want you to imagine it. I don't want you to ever have to imagine looking on the news and hearing that your son was running for his life naked down the street, that he had been bound, that he was shot 6 times and left on the porch like a dog. I don't want people to imagine that, but at this point, after 4 years, I ask for empathy.
While this date marks a moment for the Jacobs family, all these loved ones try to find hope in each other.
So when you're around someone who's been through it, you know they know exactly what you're going through. So when they say you can get through it, you believe them.
Somebody pays attention to my case and Keeshae's case, but they see these other people. Oh yeah, I know, I saw that murder, da-da-da. It makes people talk. It makes people want to help.
Tonight at 6, crime insider John Burkett goes in depth on the Jacobs case. He'll take you inside that house where she was last seen, and he goes there exclusively with the men trying to find out what happened to her. His special investigation tonight at 6 and 11. For now, working from the studio, Jake Burns, CBS 6 News.
Richmond police confirmed at the time that detectives were in direct contact with authorities in Jacksonville, though the case remained unsolved and Keeshae's body had not been found. In May 2024, nearly 8 years after Keeshae disappeared, Richmond police contacted the family directly. Investigators told them they now understood the tragic situation that led to her death.
Yes, we can give a brief update on that, and I do appreciate members of the media. I know there was a lot of interest in that case. Toni and the rest of Keeshae's family obviously is devastated by the final realization that she is no longer with us. So I appreciate giving some time. But one thing we can say is that This case has been with us since 2016. Many investigators have worked on it. We were able to interview a person of interest who did admit that he was present with her when she passed away and disposed of the body. So he was able to give that comfort to her family. His name is Otis Tucker. He is in Florida right now doing life in prison for a separate murder unrelated to this incident. So, we would like to thank the Richmond Commonwealth's Attorney's Office for working closely with us. I would even like to thank Mr. Tucker's father, who accompanied investigators to Florida for that interview and convinced his son to help give keeshae's family some peace.
And was there any sort of, obviously, I believe he's serving life in prison, that no prosecution promise type thing related to that?
There was. So there was a agreement to not use it against him in any future proceedings. So it's a very sad story, and I know we had all hope that she would be found, but unfortunately, she was not. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I just want to clarify. So he was sentenced for murder?
No. Yeah, unrelated murder. Yes.
And I know you just said that he admitted he was with her at the time she died. Is that admitting that he did it, or is that admitting that? Can you say a little more about that or no? That's okay.
Well, he did not say he killed her. He did admit to disposing her body in a way that, I don't want to go into details about it, but in a way that we are unable to find her.
Toni Jacobs posted the news publicly, informing the community that her daughter was no longer alive and announcing a memorial service at Cedar Street Baptist Church in Richmond's East End.
Grand Rising family, how's everybody this morning?
Praise God.
Just want to thank God because He is amazing and awesome. And as the wonderful songstress stated, we thank God for it all. Before I read these acknowledgments, I just want to send a whole lot of love to Toni and the family. I can't imagine, but know that you are loved and supported.
Yes, all right.
And God got you. All right, I'll begin with the acknowledgments of the cards. May God comfort you in your sorrow. Wishing you time together thoughts to cherish memories and to feel loved by all who surround you now as they share in your loss. With sympathy, we will never forget Keeshae. Sending love and support. Sincerely, the 12 on your side family. A time for comfort and caring, a time for sharing warm memories, a time for honoring a wonderful life. Even as we mourn, we can remember the good times, be comforted by love, and celebrate a life well lived.
Oh, yes.
With deepest sympathy, Josephine Myers from the Swarborough Baptist Church. And finally, right now, when your loss is so fresh, it may be difficult for you to imagine that this pain will ever go away. But in time, the blessings of God's unfailing love will soften the hurt that you're feeling and bring your heart the peace, comfort, and hope that it needs to heal. Until then, please remember, there's a circle of friends surrounding you. You who are embracing you and lifting you up in prayer. From your family at the Behind the Veil Christian Ministries, Apostle Vanessa Thomas. Thank you.
Amen. Amen.
At that point, police had not yet named a suspect publicly or detailed how she died. The confirmation ended nearly 8 years of uncertainty, but did not yet explain what had happened. 2 months later, in July 2024, Richmond Police Chief Rick Edwards announced a break in the case. Otis Tucker, already serving a life sentence in Florida, had admitted to disposing of Keeshae Jacobs' body. He did not admit to killing her. According to Edwards, the admission followed a trip by Richmond investigators to Jacksonville to interview Tucker directly. The breakthrough came with an unusual assist. Tucker's own father traveled with police to Florida and played a direct role in persuading his son to talk. The method Tucker used to dispose of the body was such that police say it is effectively impossible to recover her remains. That detail meant the confirmation of a confession still left the family without a body to bury and without a full account of what happened to her.
Walk up, chair.
You just want to tell us what happened? I mean, in your own words?
I woke up. I go over to grab her. The first thing in the morning. Thinking, okay, we'll mess around again in the morning. When I grabbed her, she didn't feel right, like she felt cold. And I'm like, what the hell? And I'm shaking her, she ain't coming to. And that's when I realized what had happened in the middle of the night. She'd overdosed on her purpose. The fact of me being high as hell, like I said, I made a stupid decision. I was like, what do I do with her body? So I ended up taking her to the bathroom and had went to Lowe's and got some snips and a hacksaw and cut her up. And so I just sat there for a couple of days trying to figure it out. And then one night Hughes had came over because Tiana, this other dude that came over there, was like where she was at. And then they called the police, and Detective Hughes that came over there and actually searched the house and came in there and actually walked into the room where the bags were still at. But he didn't notice. I mean, they didn't look like there was anyone in the bags. So he didn't notice it. I mean, he was a vice detective. A homicide detective would have picked up on it because, like I said, a couple of days had passed, so there was that decomp smell.
Police also disclosed the terms under which the confession was obtained, an agreement not to use the admission against Tucker in any future court proceeding related to Keeshae's death. Because Tucker was already serving a life sentence for the Florida murder, prosecutors determined the deal secured information they otherwise likely would not have gotten. Tucker will not be charged in connection with Keeshae Jacobs' case. Toni Jacobs responded publicly at the time, describing 7 years of uncertainty, heartache, and searching, and stating that the family finally had answers, even as they began processing the news.
Thanks so much, Zach. 7 years ago today, a Richmond woman named Keeshae Jacobs disappeared. The man she was last seen with and suspect in her disappearance, Otis Tucker, was just sentenced to life in prison in Florida for the murder of a Jacksonville mother of 3.
The question now is, will that conviction prompt Tucker to tell what he might know about Keeshae? Crime Insider John Burkett, in partnership with the Reopen the Case Foundation, explains what's next in a missing persons case that's been a living nightmare for Keeshae's mother.
Right now, I'm just waiting for the Commonwealth Attorney to extradite him here, I guess, for his show cause for the time that he have over his head.
On September 15th, Toni Jacobs listened in via Zoom to a murder sentence hearing in Jacksonville, Florida, where detectives would testify to Otis Tucker's involvement in the cold and calculated killing of 34-year-old Ashley Fowler, the mother of 3 beaten to death with a hammer and strangled with an electrical cord.
It took me a couple of days to bounce back from that because I think it was more detail about what happened to Miss Fowler's daughter, and I was like, what did he do to my baby?
Tucker is the last person Keeshae was seen with 7 years ago at this Churchill home. Detectives confirmed to Reopen the Case last year that he is the suspect in Keeshae's mysterious disappearance.
He was given a life sentence down there, so he's not going anywhere, but we're hoping that, now that that sentence has been posed on him, that, he may say something, if he had any part to do with Keeshae Jacobs' disappearance.
Keeshae Jacobs vanished September 26, 2016. Her mother, Toni, has relentlessly searched for clues. Stunned that the Commonwealth allowed Tucker to serve probation in Florida after being released from the Department of Corrections last year. Police suspect foul play in Keeshae's case, but without a body, Richmond has declined to prosecute, something her mom hopes will change now that he's been put away for life.
Just to know where my daughter is or what happened to her, so I can have some kind of closure in my life with this episode, because I'm tired, but I can't stop fighting because I have to get this closure for my baby.
That's what we're hoping for, that we can play on his conscience and, he'll share what he knows. One of the things, man, I tell you, being a little boy, my grandmother used to always say, she said, son, what's done in the dark will come to light. And I'm a firm believer of that, so we're hoping that one day we'll be able to bring some closure to this case.
This Churchill home behind me under renovation is the last place Keeshae Jacobs was seen. It's also one of the first places, even now 7 years later, that her family and friends think of when talking about her disappearance. If you know anything about Keeshae's case, you're asked to call detectives at 804-780-1000 or reopen the case at 833-RTCF-NVA or email tips@reopenthecase.org. In Churchill, John Burkett, CBS 6 News.
Following the confirmation and confession, Toni Jacobs founded the Keeshae Jacobs Foundation. The organization now runs an annual event called Missing Persons Day, most recently held at the Broad Rock Sports Complex in Richmond. The event is built around a simple problem Toni says she faced herself in 2016. When Keeshae first disappeared, there was no one to walk her through what to do, what to ask for, or how to keep pressure on investigators. The foundation is designed to be that resource for other families going through the same experience. Toni Jacobs has also spoken publicly about the loss of her son, Devon, who was shot and killed around the same period her daughter went missing, compounding the family's losses within a short span of time. The case resurfaced in the news again in December 2025, when an investigative report examined Tucker's history across 4 states: Virginia, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Florida, documenting a pattern of violence dating back to his childhood. The report raised a direct question: whether law enforcement in multiple jurisdictions had prior opportunities to intervene before Tucker was connected to 2 separate deaths. That same reporting included a pointed exchange in which Toni Jacobs called for the resignation of local officials she holds responsible for what she views as a slow and inadequate initial response. Officials pushed back, stating that their offices did everything the family asked of them during the investigation. As it stands, Otis Tucker is serving a life sentence for the murder of Ashley Fowler in Florida. He has admitted to disposing of Keeshae Jacobs' body, but has not been charged in her case and has not admitted to killing her. Her remains have never been recovered, and no one has been charged with her death. Did you find this case informative? If you want more true crime stories, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.